definitely going to be reaching out to the support team over there. What's also fun
When
is
you,
I reinstalled all the software,
Mhm.
and and now I'm getting all the pop-ups. Hey, take this tour, take that tour. If you click this will happen.
Tutorial.
Yes.
When you saw that other people were having the same issues, was that recent?
Yeah. So after last Friday's show, I uninstalled the software, I reinstalled it all, and then I had to rebuild everything. I'm still
Oh my god.
working on some of it. Yeah. I went out, I had to go find a new RSS ticker and all sorts of fun stuff because the old one we were using wasn't available anymore. Just the
Stupid shit.
yeah, the fun of technology. Um, and so yeah, I hopped on the Facebook group for this software this morning, and there was one other person who was reporting the same issue. I was like, okay, I'm going to jump
Mm,
on this thread.
yeah. What a mess.
Yeah, we got a new countdown. Look, the font's a little
Yeah.
different. Anyone really notices that?
Yeah.
But I did have to buy an RSS ticker this time, so we got a lot more options.
Hmm.
We might even put a RSS widget into our emails.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's got a lot of stuff. I know how much you love playing with RSS, so
Really?
well, I'm
I
being
used,
serious.
I used to.
Jeff loves an RSS feed and a QR code. So
I still use Feedly
Oh yeah.
for a few
Everyone.
things.
You're still around?
Just RSS subscriber. I think Google at one point purchased Feedly. They
well,
still do
that's the
updates to it.
company where products go to die a lot of the time.
True, true.
All right, 4 seconds, fellas.
Oh.
Well, that sounds a lot different in the headphones.
Not as loud and obnoxious.
I don't know about that. Well, we've got a request to everyone listening. If our audio is off, please drop a comment and let us know.
We
We,
may get a lot of comments.
uh, hey, I'd rather everyone have clean audio to listen to than try to sit back and
Yeah.
listen to whatever pops up in a nasty way.
You sound like an air
Agreed.
traffic controller.
I look like one too.
You do.
Or I should get an RGB light and then I can be a gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some fluorescent lights.
You can get on my Discord. Well,
Always
so
good to see you, Joe.
Good to see you guys. 20 years, huh?
20
Congratulations.
years. Thank you.
You believe it?
Not really.
nope.
Neither. Quick car guy story. So I came from the automotive accessories industry. I had a startup there. It was quite successful. And I sold out to my partner. Long story short, I found my way to doing eBay ads for a car dealer. And I absolutely crushed it. We sold cars back in, remember Jeff and Alice back in the day, we used to sell on eBay,
Yep.
and I had somebody buy a Pontiac Grand Am that flew from Denver to Syracuse, New York to drive the Pontiac Grand Am home. Like, what the hell? So 20 years, they make me an offer, and I was building websites. That's what I was doing, and they made me an offer, and I came on board. And I remember being at the bar and telling my friends that, well, what do you do for now? Well, I work for a car dealer, and I was embarrassed. It was like, you work for, oh, those guys are evil. Oh, they're terrible. So I came in from that side of the world, and as the weeks piled up, I started to understand what the term buyers are liars,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I started to understand how difficult the industry is, why it's really a difficult place to function, to do well. Um, that's why there's such great energy put into everybody to try to figure out how to make the store run faster, better, easier, because it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm here today to chit chat about AI. I got nothing to sell, and I've got spam call coming in. Okay, we can get rid of that.
I hear it.
Yeah. So I got to go to don't disturb. So, anyways, I got nothing to sell, and all I want to do is just share, for me, from my point of view, is how powerful AI is. I'm in it three hours a day, and I treat it like it's an intern or a coworker, a junior coworker, and it's changing so fast. So I didn't do a lot of preparation. I just wrote some notes because next week these notes are not going to be relevant. AI is changing
Mm-hmm.
so fast that just when you think you got it figured out, they make a leap forward, and last month's problems are gone, and you have a new set of problems that are different. So
Fun.
yeah, so um, AI it is advancing so fast. It just it's crazy. So the context that I'd like to share is that if you're curious about AI, look at it as though it's an intern or a helper. It's not intended to be a Google search. Find me a hammock. It's like help me figure out how to write a reply to an angry customer. Help me reply to an angry review left on Google about our service department. You know, um, as a leader, you're stretched for time, and you don't have a lot of bandwidth. So you turn to your intern, your AI, and you say, write me a review for this angry customer, and invite the customer in to talk to me one-on-one or call me. And whatever the context is that you set up, your intern will do what you want. So that's,
Does your intern have a name?
hey, you.
That is
One
another
thing,
nice part about AI. You just tell it to do something. You don't have to be nice to it. In
I
fact,
got
it's
out.
almost like the meaner you are, the better it responds.
I don't think so.
with no HR issues.
That's such an Alex Snyder reply. Typical car guy. You better answer this right, or I'm going to throw a stapler at you.
Yep.
Oh my God. You piece of shit. Do what I asked the first time.
You made it look all funny. And you
Yeah.
put words that don't make sense in there. They do that all
I,
the
but,
time.
yeah. So, and one thing about AI, it can do lots of interesting things that you just are not done anywhere. It can make fancy pictures or make little movies, or, you know, that's really, it's a sideshow. Um, what the real thing, I believe, or the point I would like to get across, is that it is your assistant. And if you look at it that way and start giving it the jobs that you don't want to do, as long as it's keyboard related, it can do it.
Yeah. So what are you using it for?
Who was it? Rick Buffkin says, "I'll know it's real when it can print food." No, that was famous.
He must have been watching some Star Trek that day.
Um, Actually, I want to be alive when that day happens. Um,
No.
but so it can do so like first of all, everybody on the call, go to dealer refresh, look for the column, mark what cool shit can I do with AI right now, and um, give that a look. Hang on a minute, boys. Yep, there it is. And as we're talking along, if we talk about something, a topic that has some information on it that I have that you don't have, I'll paste it into that thread so that you can go to it and reference what we're talking about. The very first one at the top, this is a window sticker. And all you have to tell AI to do is turn this into text. That's the only command you have to say. OCR is what I wrote in there, optical character recognition. It's the same thing. Just turn this into text. So you do a screenshot or a photograph, paste it into AI, and look at the list that comes out of it. So if you have a customer, like a scenario, a salesman has a customer who's looking at a particular car that's in transit, but the sales rep wants to sell what he's got on the ground. And the customer says, well, does it have all the features I want? And their sales rep says, here, let me send it to you. So another case in point is if you have your SEO peoples who want to create a blog post or a new arrival, any kind of content, you can OCR anything that has text in it, and they can turn that into an SEO post.
What do we got here?
Bill Playford's in the house. Whoa. Cool.
Yep. He's not mean like me.
No. No. You are 100% car guy.
Well, one of the things that we're looking at on the screen right now isn't just this thread on Dealer Refresh about what cool stuff there is to do with AI. There are also some other tools, and we want to jump into those that can probably help everybody. The first one here is this browser that I'm using right now. It's called ARC, A-R-C. It is free, and it uses the Google Chrome engine, just like pretty much every browser now. But it's pretty cool in that it can give you workspaces for your tabs. So like I've got what's going to be here? Personal. I've got a
Let's
work
spend time in
one.
there.
Yeah, I've got Dealer Refresh. And then I've got this one where I like to keep track of my AI devices that I use. And then you've got certain tabs that stick with everything. But the main reason I started using ARC was because you can use Perplexity as the default search engine. So I had divorced Google years ago and started using DuckDuckGo, and I used the Brave browser and used their search. And then when Perplexity came around, I was hooked pretty fast. That's something, Joe, you turned me on to. And then I found out that Xfinity, the cable service that we use at my house, had a deal where you got Perplexity Pro free for a year. So I took advantage of that and haven't looked back. So if I go up here to my address bar, say, instead of going in, like Joe, you were saying don't use AI for like your typical Google searches, but let's see, what's who's the Ford dealer in Vermont? I do use it that way.
Yeah.
Because it's my default search.
That's great.
But look what you get back. Here are all the Ford dealers. I'm not plagued with Auto Trader pay-per-click or the Ford OEM pay-per-click stuff and all the junk that you get when you use DuckDuckGo or Bing or Google. Here it is, boom, and you get some good information. If you want to go in, let's see, Lamoille Valley was the first one up here. Well, here's a link to their website, and boom, I'm right there. But at the
I
same
like how it
time,
formats it out.
yeah, at the same time, you can say, here we go. This is a good one. Change of the season. My tire is losing air, and I hate typing for an audience. Air pressure. What should I do? And then you get the, straight up. Here's the answers. All right. So
There you
if you're
go.
not using AI search for, just asking regular questions, hunting for new things, you're missing out. It's insanely valuable for this right now. And like the amount of stuff that I throw at it, like here's the things that I was just asking this morning. All right, so we were having a problem with the software that we are um, broadcasting on, and this was the response straight from AI. This is a software that has a Facebook group uh, and a blog. So there's not a lot of information out there. So AI can quickly curate all of the things that could help you in troubleshooting this particular issue.
Very
Joe,
cool.
how about some deep research?
Well, so Perplexity is the one that really invented it because they take your query, your question, and they go out to the internet and they pull stuff back for you. And then AI came up with this business. It's called reasoning. So it looks at your request, whatever it is, whatever, doesn't matter, and then it takes your information and then it says, okay, this is what he wants, and they run out to the internet, bring information back. It looks at it. It asks itself questions. If it's the answers they got satisfies your first question. If it doesn't, it goes back out, comes back, asks new questions, goes back out, comes back and goes back and forth. You know how I like on Google when you're trying to figure something out? It's called pogo sticking. You write information down and you scroll down, you click, you go over, you read, then you hit the back browser, you go down, you read, and you're pogo sticking back and forth and back. It does it automatically. And it all along the way, it tries to answer your question as it searches the internet. It's called deep research. Everybody's doing it now. And it's deadly. It's a leap forward, 100x better than it was just 3 months ago.
Yeah. Let's do it real quick. Just trying to think, what's a good deep research topic? I've got one in the can, actually, now that I think about it.
Okay.
If we go into my library, where can I find this? Maybe Spaces. That's it. Loyalty crisis. That's right. So let's see. I think this was one. Yeah, this was a deep research ask. So what is the value of a customer to a car dealer? It basically wrote me a white paper.
Yes, that's perfect for that. Research does great research.
Yep. Yeah, this is
So
incredible.
it just keeps adding to it as you keep going deeper and deeper?
Yeah.
It knows your intent of the question. Like in the dealer refresh thread that I mentioned earlier, like share cool shit you can do with AI right now. I think on the second or third page, I said, I'm a general sales manager of CDJR. I have poor hybrid sales. Prepare a Monday morning meeting for me, for my sales reps. And it's in that thread, and it is stunning how in-depth it is. Stunning. I mean, right down to role playing and talking about commuter value, the value to a commuter, and the word tracks are just amazing. And this is, again, that context. Think of it as though it's your assistant and say, hey, you, I want to prepare for a sales meeting Monday morning, and I want to take care of our hybrids. Our hybrid sales are low, and I think our sales reps don't understand the value equation and why it's so prepare something. Give me an outline. That's it. I mean, you could talk to it like that, and then what it does is it understands the context, and then deep research goes out to the internet, brings back thoughts. Does these answers match his needs? No. Go back. Why doesn't it match his needs? We need to do this. You can watch it talk to itself. It is next
So,
level.
Scary.
and some of these deep research queries can take like 30 minutes for it to perform.
Yeah, my longest one's 17, I think.
Yeah. So if you start one and you see that it's going and going and going, just move on to a new task. Let it do its thing.
Oh,
It'll also notify you when it's done.
oh yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
In that thread, go to dealer refresh. Look for that thread, and in there, in that example of the GSM, I put the prompt. That's the text you use to begin the discussion. I put that in there also. So you could copy paste that out and watch it work for yourself. And if you like it, just pull the brand out, add some personal information in there, and submit it again.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There's one. Your prompt builder.
Yeah. Well, you know what, dude? Right? That prompt builder was so last month because the prompts machines themselves are, when you have deep research or the better AIs, they don't need a beautifully written prompt where to learn what you want. I mean, you can just do a brain dump and it'll figure it out. Last month, you needed to have a well-crafted. It's called a prompt. It has a format. That's gone. You don't need to do that anymore. You just like freestyle. You can just freestyle right into it, and you'll have a talk with it. If it produces something you don't like, you say, "Well, that's pretty good, but I want to talk more about this," and then off it goes, and it makes a twist.
Here's an example of that. So, now it wants me to sign up. Oh, come on now. I was already signed in.
How are you, Alex?
There we go. All right. So yeah, this was one where I asked Claude, and Claude's great, by the way. Just starting to peel that onion, but asked it to make a chart that shows dealership loyalty from customers dipping from being in the 30 to 35% range from 2019 to 2023, and then dipping to 23% in 2024 and 25. So it came back with a bar chart, and it showed this, and then it just asked it to make a line graph, and that's what the second part was, and this is what it came back with. So real simple stuff here. Some other things that are really useful and you don't need prompting for are things like image background removals. So you can just search for Adobe Express image background removal and put your photo in here. Let's grab one real quick. Here we go. Let's use the same car we were playing with yesterday, Jeff.
Okay.
All right, so
red Benz.
Yep, there it is. So there you go. That fast, it just popped the car out of the background. And this is free, by the way. And then you just download it. And now you've got a background-free image, whatever it might be. And then you can take that, or you could say, you know what, I like my Benz as takeout. I don't know. Or I like my Benz and the flowers. But you can do all sorts of fun stuff from a marketing angle with this, and make social media posts or whatever it might be.
Great for
if
ads.
You want to, yeah, there's another tool that's also incredibly good at this. Not the background removal, but building out a quick ad. Oh, I was playing with it earlier. So this is PictoChart. So you can come in here and you can create with AI. You can give it a prompt and say, hey, look, I'm trying to build an Instagram uh, image, and it needs to be a Mercedes and show that it's as low as $400 a month, da 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 da, and then it'll go out and it'll build that for you. Um, I'll save you some time. I already did it. So this was one, and I just was playing with it this morning, just as an example for the show today. But just went in and said, "Hey, make me an advertisement for a 403 per month Mercedes GLA 250 4MATIC." That was it. That was all I told it to do. And this is what it came back with. It's just a little flyer.
I was to say, is that a print ad?
Could be. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I can go back and edit it, change out some of these photos. Like you might not want to show a G-Wagon on a this particular thing, but just change it out real fast. Or some of this verbiage, or I want to make 403 way bigger and I want it to be hyperlinked. Run it to the car.
What about the fine print?
Add it
for compliancy.
Well, that's something you'll have to supply.
All right. And the dealer refresh.
We need an AI agent that's all compliancy.
Yes.
Doable.
I bet if you were to take, I don't mean to be promotional in any which way, shape, or form of the statement, but you do have a feed that Frickin' Tech can provide with those payments, and you can take all the payment details. And then I bet if you were to stick it into a prompt and say, make an advertising disclaimer out of this, boom, there you go.
Gotcha.
So, Joe, back to dealer refresh.
Dealer refresh, peeps, the something really mind blowing. When in the thread, when will AI become? Oh, sorry, my bad, wrong one. In the thread that we were talking about just a little while ago. Just a minute, please. I posted in the wrong one. Anyways,
you want to share your screen?
No, not really. Give me a second here. I'm gonna catch up. So let me explain the visual. This is going to really make some people upset, but this is what's coming. Not only is Google at risk, but so is all third-party websites that aggregators, gurus, traders, cars, everybody, Edmunds, the whole thing. AI in dealer refresh. I'll post it in the thread. The title was "Prepare for Your Mind to Be Blown." I went into the best model that ChatGPT had, and with their deep research, I said something really simple. Here's all I said. I made pretend I was a deep in the funnel shopper. I want you to find me a used 2024 Chevrolet Equinox RS with low miles. I live in Syracuse, New York. What are my choices? And it spent 10, 12 minutes looking all over the internet, and it brought back 3 dealers that had low mile vehicles, year, make, model, and trim. And I didn't have to do anything other than get a cup of coffee. And then I said, okay, it was Bridgeland Auto Brokers, and this is all right in the dealer refresh threads. It gave me 3 dealers. It gave me the key features of each of the car, each of the 3 choices. And then I went and say, well, which one has the best features? And it gave me the total key features for each car at each store. So I said, well, okay, there's one store that has the same RS but has more features. That's cool. But then I asked it to go give me some more information. And then I says, make me a one-pager because I'm going to call every one of these dealers. Give me the contact information, store, telephone number, email, da-da-da. It did that all for me. And then I says, well, what the hell? Why don't you write me an email and find their best price? So then
that's when everyone chimed in and said, you're a jerk with that email.
Yeah, it was spam, but somebody got the sale, dude. If so, the human says, "Oh, this is spam. I don't like the way this email is written," but AI wouldn't give a shit because it's got no emotions, and it would reply. So that's one of the reasons why in lead gen, when managing lead flow, AI is the probably the best way to answer the first part of any chat discussion or an email. But anyway, I don't want to get off track. The point that I'm trying to make is all I said is I live here. I want this year, make, and model with low miles. What's out there? It went out 15 minutes later, brought me back three that fit my criteria. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't go to YouTube, Auto Trader, cars, nothing. It did it all. Oh, that's nice. And then I said, give me some information on the level of equipment, how well it's equipped. It gave me that information, and so I says, okay, well, this one's got this. I like that one better, but then I got to go and do a test drive and all this stuff. So it's remember I says remember I said look at AI as though it's an assistant. I was a retail consumer, a car shopper, and I used it like it was my assistant. I want a year, make, model with this many miles in this color, and I want to search within this many miles around my zip. Go. No Auto Trader, no cars, no Google, no nothing. Just does it.
Now, is it when it would it return links directly to the dealership website of that VDP, or would it include photos? I guess whatever you asked it to include.
True. I asked for links
Okay.
to the VDP, but it also brought me back. And one thing that's interesting is that we work. And here's a glimpse into the future. SEO is how we game Google. Now we're going to have to game AI, because one of the three stores came back with no email name, no email contact in the contact list. So something's awry there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a new path. It's 2025. Fast forward a year, and you're going to start seeing a larger amount of people incrementally using this method to find product.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm not going to say it out loud to spare everybody, but SIRI is supposed to do. And the Google one, and of course the Alexa one. I think that's next for those voice assistants.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, I don't know if anybody out there works with Google Sheets and formulas, and the formulas can get complex, and you scratch your head trying to write them, especially across tabs. And AI, just copy paste it, and as long as it's got rows if it's got a column full of data and titles across the top, and you tell it, write me formulas for the information that I need, it can write formulas basically from an empty spreadsheet based on the content information that you leave in the top of the column, the title of the column. Or I try to do the formula myself, and I get the error message. Like, I don't have time to figure this out. So I copy the error message, paste it in there, and it fixes it for me.
Yep. My wife does that from time to time. She works for an SEO agency, and they're constantly comparing reports and whatnot. Fortunately, I have an Excel expert on staff. I just chat them. Way easier. But here's another one that's kind of fun. I haven't spent a lot of time playing with this yet, but you can write a script and choose your avatar and your voice, and this will speak it for you. So imagine that OCR task that you did at the beginning of the show, Joe, in that thread where you were taking a window sticker and you asked it to pull the text out of the window sticker. Yeah. And then maybe you were able to then say, hey, write me a script that talks about the features on this car, with a focus on the safety features, because you're going to send this off to a soccer mom or something like that.
Yep.
And then you come over here to Hey Gen, and you take that script and you plug it into this AI, and now this talking head becomes a video that you can send to that soccer mom, and Bob's your uncle.
Will it take a photo of you and?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. Yeah, there's a version of it where it can turn you into a talking head.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and you're right, Ryan. Bomb and Co-Video should be all over this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many dealers don't want to get on camera?
Most.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that would be
That one's
nice.
pretty slick. I don't
I
know.
like that.
Another fun one for emails. Well, maybe not so much for customers, but my support team uses this. I'll flip over to my other tab here. This is one called Napkin.ai, and this is pretty cool. So let's do one real quick. Let's see. What's a fun stat? Let's just say tariffs, and I guess with all the news, everyone can actually spell tariffs now. So tariffs weren't as bad as the 30% across the board speculators were signaling. They were roughly 15%. All right, something like that. I'll fix my spelling. All right. So now this sucker is going to go through and take that little prompt and write an entire article about it. All right. And then there you go. And you can say, okay, so here's one with the 15% and the 30 in it, or let's use the intro, and let's zing this one. And now it'll go through and it'll hunt for things that it can compare visually. So what graphic makes the most sense for this particular paragraph? Say, all right, I like that one, but I don't like the style. Whatever. So this is pretty cool. It's still in a beta, so you can go in and you can request an invite to be a part of it, and then go to town.
Interesting.
Yeah, I used this for a lot of blog articles not too long ago.
You say it's called Napkin.ai?
Napkin.ai, yeah.
Okay.
And my support team has used it for sending some data stats to our clients. So if a dealer has shown some improvement in some stats or something along those lines, they just go in and say, hey, ABC Motors has improved 5% on this and 10% on this. And then it writes this whole thing up. And then they choose a paragraph, make a picture. Boom.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Joe, you're big into merchandising.
Yeah.
What are you using for all your merchandising gigs?
Well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Okay, I understand.
So there's well, we're building a tool that's going to audit VDPs for accuracy. I believe there is an epidemic of bad data on VDPs, and so I'm building my son's building, and I'm watching him build it because he's way smarter than I am. So we're building a tool that will take a VDP data and ping it or pair it against build data look for accuracy, look for errors, look for
Mm-hmm.
mistakes. And so that's one of several things we got
Okay.
in the company. That's going to be really interesting. I working with a client, and we were using his inventory, and by mistake, I told my son, let's start from the most expensive VINs and work our way down as we're doing this testing. And then we're third car in, and the trim was off by $10,000. So they had a trim in there that was a limited, and it actually was a platinum, and it was priced like a platinum, but it said it was a limited. So it was a big error. And I go, well, there's a sign.
Do you find a lot of errors? I know we were
No,
talking
it's
the other day, and you're just like, always double check, triple check.
yeah. Well, let's get to that too, because in the business of trying to do an audit, AI itself is error prone or can be error prone. So
Mm-hmm.
my son writes agents or has a process that does a quality control. So it looks for errors and ranks them by confidence, and then has a process that goes around and tries to mop up the errors. So in it's we've been at it for quite a while now, so it just doesn't like happen easily. It takes a lot of work, but that's one of them. Another one that's going to happen is uh, comment generators. That's
Okay.
that's a natural. In fact, in that, what I'm going to do um, in the um, in the dealer refresh forum, I'm going to post right now a a prompt that's really robust. And what you do is you copy it and you paste it into a AI, and it will ask you questions um, about your make and model, trim, and miles. It'll ask for information. So you copy it off your VDP and just follow the instructions, and then hit send, and then it creates the content for you automatically. And yeah, it's I share this, not that it's proprietary, because it's one, it's low hanging fruit. Two, it's the dealer refresh tradition to share. And three, it's easy. Anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Here's one. Um, Decision makers, vendor side and dealer decision makers, GMs, GSMs, doesn't matter. If you're in the business of trying to recruit, there's this really cool application that is perfect for AI. You take your job description and you upload it to AI if you have it in a PDF or whatever, and then you take the applicant's resume and upload it or add it or paste it into AI, and then tell AI who you are. I am Joe. I am the GSM of Billy Bob Ford. I'm looking for a sales rep that has the work ethic and blah, blah, blah. You put in, you just freestyle. I go, look, then you tell it, look at the resume and give me a fit score on how this candidate will work for us. Tell me the pros and cons of the fit, and tell me what kind of training they're going to need. Hit submit
Wow.
and get ready to have your mind blown.
There was a service years ago, I'm sure it still exists, where it would match up employees or potential employees to the business. Well, I know we used it years ago though, but it was sort of like a personality test to
Yeah.
see would they, who would be the best fit for the sales position, service position, etc.
If any
But it was,
decision maker
it was
wants that, ping me. By the way, DM me on LinkedIn or Dealer Refresh, and I'll send you the prompt to do the analysis of comparing a job description against a resume. You'll be
okay.
shocked at how. In fact, it's so good. The page that it produces is better than the cover letter that the applicant writes.
Let's do this, Joe. I've got a job description that I just pulled up for Perplexity for a
Okay,
salesperson.
which one?
A salesperson for a dealership?
Okay, good. Because that context is important. It's all about context. Yep.
Yep. So I've got it right here. Let's copy this whole thing.
That's a job description, right?
Yep.
You got a resume?
No, I don't have a resume.
Well,
Oh,
we're going to need that.
so you got to match that up. Gotcha.
Well, that's the idea. So, like, a decision maker's got a dozen resumes on his desk, and they got no
Can you take a
bandwidth.
LinkedIn profile?
Well, in a perfect world, absolutely.
Well, let's
If
let's try it. Why not?
if the LinkedIn profile speaks to the work accomplishments and the work environment and gives good context, yes.
Hmm, I was gonna say use mine, but mine doesn't do any of that crap.
No,
Um,
you're Scott, you should be a fail.
yeah, I would be a full fail.
Yeah. Too radical. He's got a bad attitude. Nope, not going to work.
Although we can still play with it. What's so how would I do this?
You need a job description,
Yep.
and then you need a resume, and a resume that's applying or fits the job.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, like a perfect example is a cell phone salesman
I'm gonna do it
versus.
right now. So
Okay,
lead me through this.
okay, so you've got the job description.
Yep.
You need a resume.
Okay, we'll find one. Where do I go now?
I don't know.
Let's just say I've got a resume. Am I gonna go to Perplexity?
Well, I use GPT, so
Okay.
Perplexity is really smart. I think they should be able to pull it off too. You upload a PDF. If the application's the resume application, sorry, if the resume is a PDF, you just upload it, or you just copy the whole thing if it's on a doc and just paste it. Just get it into AI. So and then you have to tell the AI like it's your assistant. You are the HR for my dealership. I am the GSM. I need a sales rep that's a top performer that has good work history. No gaps in the resume, has a likes retail, you just like spitball, friendly, even though it won't be able to figure that out, but just like spitball, let it flow.
Yeah. I
And
I see what yeah. And Bill came back and said, "Hey, just write, ask it to write you a resume." But
does it can do that.
yeah. So let's see. Can I save to PDF? Yep.
You can upload to AI anything, just raw text, a text file, a CSV. Many of the ones that have deep research will take a link, PDFs, images, JPEGs. I did this today. I had an image that was an image that was a not a JPEG, and I asked GPT to convert it from the file was it wasn't a JPEG. I just convert this picture to JPEG, and it did it for me.
All right.
Yeah, actually,
So I'm at.
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm at ChatGPT. Unfortunately, something keeps freezing up here. There we go. Might be asking a little bit of my computer right now. All right, we got our
Well,
salesperson resume.
okay.
And where did here's the job description.
Bingo.
And you just say,
Now you got
is this,
nope. Got to give them
is,
context. Announce what your role is.
okay.
I'm the GSM of Joe Blow Chevy or whatever you want to be. I'm looking for a top performing sales consultant, just with strong work ethic and a demonstrated sales performance, and preferably with automotive knowledge.
All right, let's see what ChatGPT has to say. There you go. It does align with some key aspects. So it demonstrates a track record of meeting, exceeding sales targets, Mentions vehicle knowledge, it highlights customer service and relationship building skills, and shows negotiation skills. Potential gaps. The
There you go.
resume lacks specific metrics, like sold an average of 20 cars per month. While it mentions CRM software, it doesn't highlight reporting and administrative tasks. Well, no salesperson can do that. It doesn't explicitly mention certifications or formal training in automotive sales. Right, but the resume could be better at highlighting team collaboration and showroom management responsibilities. But overall, it does say it can fog a mirror.
Yeah, so like we have is a job description, we have a resume, and the information that comes from in this case the GSM. He she sets up the criteria of what is a good employee for me, and the more specific you get, then the better the match information gets. So yeah, and this is especially helpful for someone who's not in the industry. Like if you're going to hire a salesman from a cell phone company to sell cars, or if they have a varied sales history where they were B2B, then retail, and then this and that, and they come back to cars. It can help you analyze the strengths and weaknesses, and that so when you do an interview, you can really attack the cons. What's wrong with what the gaps are with this person.
And I would think like before you promote somebody, you could have some sort of write-up and say like, here's what I've seen this person demonstrate over the last year, and this is the job description I would like this person to fill. Can you give me a SWOT basically on what's good and what's bad?
Yeah.
I like.
You know what? Another thing too is goal setting too. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to make a little bit of a joke about promoting people to sales management, but that's a different story.
It's called the Peter Principle.
Yeah.
Another thing you could do is like you're doing year end, and you got your sales reps. You want to set a quarterly goal plan for sales and follow ups and all the details, and you create the expectations for Billy and then Susan and Ralphie and then Ernie, and then each one of the reps has a doc, and then you at the end of the quarter you download all of the data into it and say, give me a full report on Ernie, then give me one on Susie and one on Ralphie and one on Billy, and then you just start calling me into your office, pros and cons. You did well this one, you fell short there. All this time is like it's having if you're a leader, it's like having an executive assistant. So it's so much more than Google pogo sticking.
What other tools? I've been messing around. We were speaking to Bill earlier. I've been messing around. He's got something called Auto Agentic, and he's gave me some access. So I've been in there fooling around. That one's set up where you've got different AI agents. So you've got, I think, like an HR agent.
Yep.
You've got a budget agent. You've got a data analysis agent.
Yep.
So as you ask different questions, even a marketing agent. As you ask different questions, it responds through that lens.
Yep, 1,000%. That is the future. AI is going to be on every person in the dealership, and the AI will be task specific. So if you're in cleanup or in technician or a service manager or office or salesperson, GSM, GM, UCM, you'll have an app that is it's your personal assistant. It is very aware of your workflow and what you got, what you've completed, what you have pending, and what's coming. And so, like if you're a sales rep and you got a 4:00 delivery and you're on a test drive and it's 2:30, your personal assistant says it's an hour and a half before your next for your delivery. I'm going to check service to make sure they're going to hit that number. And then it goes off to the service department and gets an update, and it comes back to you, says your delivery that was supposed to be at 4 is not going to be ready till 5. Do you want to call the customer or do you want me to? It's so and it's going to so every person in the organization has a personal assistant that's specific and understands, has a role, and that's why I keep saying think of AI as an assistant. So every person in the organization will have their personal assistant on the phone. And what's more important, well, what's another thing that can happen is the GM will see all of it roll up into his dashboard.
Okay.
He'll know how businesses by the way the communications are happening automatically and the follow up, and all that other. There's yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's assuming the walled gardens will allow things in.
Yeah, Bill Playford, Claude's big on reasoning. Everybody's doing it. Not to belittle what you said, but I got subscriptions to all of them, and ChatGPT o1 Pro it's sick. It takes reasoning to a little higher level, but you can watch it reason. I think that's the most entertaining thing is to watch the AI talk to itself while it tries to solve your problem. It's like, what is going on? I'm selling a property here in Florida, and I have a job. I'm going to try to find the best real estate agent for this particular property. So I asked AI, deep research. I gave it the criteria. I have this property. This is where it's located. Here's here's. I'll give you a story about the property. Here's the price range. Find me the top 5 performing real estate agents. See you, Bill. Find me the top 5 performing real estate agents that dominate this particular area that I'm in. Boom, off it went out. Came back. I got a call list now. And normally you have to go to Google and hop around and go to Zillow and look around. No, it does it all for you. It spent 13 minutes, whatever, looking, and it just pulled. Yeah, Auto Trader, gurus, cars. This is the future. Shoppers will have a personal assistant, just like at the store, and their personal assistant will go out and do the shopping for them.
I can tell you that if the future is the AI shopping assistant, based on what we've seen just with dealer refresh as a search result, because these AI tools are able to go through dealerrefresh.com. They're not able to go into life at a car dealership Facebook groups and stuff like that. Like the more information that's there and the clarity of things is what it will reward. So how does that translate to a dealer? Your vehicle listings pages, your vehicle details pages. The more detail you have there, the more crawlable, readable content that you can offer, it will reward you with more eyeballs.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see an uptick in new Dealer Refresh subscribers because when you do subscribe, we ask a question
Really?
automatically, how did you find us? And just in the past 2 months, we've seen an uptick of people actually saying, oh, I found you through ChatGTP.
Well,
Wow.
if you didn't know this, at any time you can be on dealerrefresh.com and you can scroll down a little bit on the page. You'll see who's online if you follow anybody. And it'll give you a count of all the visitors that are looking at the site right now. And what at any given time there's anywhere, or used to be at any given time, there are about 200 to 300 eyeballs on the site. Well, in the past 3 months, this has exploded. So I'm seeing times where it's hit 2,000 at one time, and most of the time it's sitting between 500 and 1,000. And almost all the new users who have signed up, to Jeff's point, have all told us, we found you through a ChatGPT search or Perplexity or.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's that deep research feature. The Perplexity, I didn't say they invented it, but they were the first to market with it, and then everybody copied them. Yeah, it's here, but and I swear that right in the dealer refresh forum, you'll see the documentation and there's a link to ChatGPT that where I went car shopping. You can read the whole, if you're that kind of person, you can read the whole thread where I start with a question. I'm looking for a year, make, model. I live here. Go, boom, low miles, and then you'll see the progression, and you'll see me winnow down the list and try to find the best deal. It's real. It's coming.
This goes to a second thought. We get asked because we offer an AI uh, customer engagement tool at Brick and Tech, and you get asked, why is yours any better than some other one? And it's a real simple answer. It's the amount of data. So when you are an AI tool that sends email responses or text responses to your internet leads, uh, the less data it has, the more generic and terrible sounding it is. So if it only has a first name, a last name, maybe a vehicle of interest, and maybe a trade, there isn't a ton that it can really go off of to give the customer a human sounding conversation. However, on the other side, you know, ours is a little different because ours is fed all the engagement information the customer had, because we're not reaching out to them on the first lead. We're waiting till they've actually touched some stuff. So they got a click path of everything the customer did. We know all their service history. We know their purchase history because we're using the DMS to bring that in. And then we have given it a goal too. So its goal is to schedule an appointment for a vehicle appraisal, and that's it. It's not there to do anything else. So it takes all that information and it creates a very relevant conversation utilizing customer information that is personal and relevant. And there you go. And then it's just trying to send the customer down this one hole.
Right.
And if it doesn't achieve that goal or starts to get other questions or things, then it's got an escape hatch. Okay, let me get you in touch with somebody in the store.
Right. Right. Yep. Choreographed. Nice. Yep. Yeah. That's where we're. Yeah. Yeah. That's where we're going. Yeah. It's and the chat that's on our websites now is, customers, they want to have a conversation with your inventory. I'm looking for an SUV and I don't want it to have high miles and I like red. And so that's where chat's going to go. And how much are payments on this? And then Frickin' Tech kicks in. That's a cue or a call for Frickin' Tech to open up. And says, so how much is the trade? And that's a kick for trade pending to kick in. And so I can see conversational retail going on where the shopper doesn't have to do drop downs and scrolling, and they just start talking. So, anyways, yeah. So think of the takeaway is to think of AI as though it's your assistant. It's a helper, and its job is to perform tasks and give it tasks and experiment with it. Have it ask if you're a dealer decision maker. Have it prepare a meeting outline, and then talking points. And
pull a report out of your CRM and ask it to analyze it.
Fact. Big thought. Trust but verify.
Yeah,
the more complex the data gets, the more complex the questions get, the more it hallucinates. It fabricates information because its mission is to give you an answer. And it says it'll sometimes just assume, well, I don't have the information that I need to give him an answer, so I'll make some shit up. And
it has 100% confidence in anything it gives you. Yeah.
I gave my son a report yesterday and told him that his thesis was stupid, and I have the AI proof for it. And he goes, I just went over this line by line, and this AI is full of shit. I had pretty charts and graphs and all these data points, and
Is he still responding to you now?
Yeah.
He's
I
hot
told him,
about that one, Joe.
yeah, I told my son, I said, what you're doing is so next century. It's not next level. He is so deep into programming, prompt engineering. He's got dashboards where he's field testing prompts and then pressing them against different AI engines and looking at cost for each request. And yeah, he's next level. Is way over my head, and I like that.
Well, Joe, thank you for your time today and continuing the dealer refresh of sharing.
Yes, thank you,
I have some
Joe.
good news. I have some good news.
You save money on your
Share.
car insurance?
No, I'm going to save you money on gasoline. I just looking at the I just looked at the charts, and uh, if you look on your stock charts, it's symbol UGA. It's the United States gasoline. It's down 5% today. Not only is the stock market falling, gasoline fell like 5% just today.
Huh.
So if you got SUVs on the lot or pickup trucks, don't panic.
There we go.
Well, on
Good to
top of
know.
that, actually, you know what? It gets better.
But
So
wait,
you reminded me with Stellantis has some pretty horrendous turn rates at the moment. If
mm,
you're a Jeep or Ram dealer, you know this well. However,
yeah.
instead of like all this fear mongering that was going on about tariffs, it actually had me turn off the notifications on that Life of a Car Dealership Facebook group because it was just too much. um, the Stellantis just came out with employee pricing for all, just like Ford did.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah.
So all this crazy fear mongering, the prices are going up, and customers aren't going to be able to afford these already expensive cars. Well, the opposite's happening.
isn't it U.S. automobile OEM manufacturers in the face of a crisis really put out crazy promotions? 9/11 and COVID, and it's like 0% and like all kinds of deals to make sure that people don't lose confidence. So that's really good news.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to end. Y'all have a great weekend.
Ping me anytime if anybody has any follow up on LinkedIn or a dealer refresh.
Will do. Thanks again, Joe.